Hey folks, welcome to the Real Meat Stick. Today, we're going to be starting our process of marinating our chicken for the Old Smokey 22-inch throwdown that we're doing in collaboration with a couple of other YouTube channels out there. We're also going to go ahead and do an unboxing and a review on this Inkbird Bluetooth Wi-Fi 5G thermometer that I just picked up on Amazon. So, with that said, big shout out to Al from Al Lunacy and to Simon from I Can Barbecue, and of course to Randy from RXTX Barbecue. Go ahead and check them out as well. They're going to be doing the same. Each of us is doing a different protein on the Old Smokey, and I chose to do chicken thighs. That way we're able to cook in a shorter period of time, be able to find out what the flavor profile is like as far as the smokiness, the heat, the temperature controls that we're going to find out on that Old Smokey. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead, get my gloves on, and get ready to start trimming some chicken. I think today what we're going to do with regards to the flavor of the chicken, so we're going to go ahead, we're going to use one, maybe two of these bottles of this Goya Mojo Creole. All the spices are at the bottom, so in fact I even go ahead and tell you to shake this up. So we're going to use this as our brine. So in total we have 18 pieces of chicken thigh. And we're going to see if they all fit in a 2-gallon bag. If not, we'll split them into 2 bags. But either way, we're going to go ahead and we're going to add that to our seasoning. Using our meat knives today. This is a 6-inch straight boning knife. Go ahead and get our gloves on. And all of the food that I prepared today is actually going to go over to the fire department. I'm a volunteer firefighter here locally in Pennsylvania. And as it says on my hat, it's Shawnee on Delaware. So this is for my firefighter brothers. This will be for our business dinner that we have coming up. So nothing here goes to waste. Benefits those in the YouTube community finding out what some of the other cookers out there are like. And it benefits our volunteer firefighters. So what I'm looking for as I go through this is any extra hanging skin, things that would burn if it was to just sit there on the fire, and probably sizzle away. So I'm just going to cut away some of the excess skin. I'm not doing this in any particular way by way of, say this was a competition barbecue, like a KCBS. In those cases, just an FYI, what we do then is we would actually peel the skin back, and I would use a spoon and take all of the fat from underneath the skin away. And then I'd get in here to the bone, and I would probably use some type of pliers or wire cutters and cut the bone down significantly. That way when the judges are taking a bite in, they get as much of the protein into their mouth. But it's not necessary for what we're going to be doing today. I do, however, want to cut back some of this excess skin. So I'm going to go ahead and trim this up, and then I'll get right back with you. See you in just a couple of moments. So here we are, we're back. We trimmed up our chicken, we opened up our bottles of Mojo Creole, and we're ready to start getting them into the bags so they can sit for the next, say, 24 hours or so. I'm going to let them sit overnight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm going to go 9 to a bag. So we're going to let these sit overnight and brine in that Mojo Creole. It's excellent flavor. I remember somebody was at a barbecue, my buddy Ramon, Dominican gentleman, and he had recommended this to me. I guess it's a popular product in the Dominican Republic. In fact, I was just looking at the label, and it comes from the Dominican Republic. So we're going to put 1 whole bottle into each bag. That way it really has an opportunity to marinate all those spices that are inside. We'll seep into the chicken, give it some really great flavor. And then tomorrow, what we'll do is we'll take each one of these bags of chicken, we'll drain the liquid out, and then we'll give the chicken a rub. I think I'm planning upon using the Seasonal, which has some great flavor. I find it's an excellent competitor up against, say, like a Lowry seasoned salt. I believe there's a good amount of MSG in there. So for those that are not a big fan of MSG, that may not be the product for you. But as Uncle Roger says, MSG is that secret agent ingredient. It really does bring the flavor out in our foods. So I'm gonna go ahead and use that tomorrow, to season all. So here we go, we're gonna just close these bags up, put them in the fridge, and then I'll be right back. And we'll do a little unboxing on that Inkbird new thermometer that I picked up on Amazon. So see you in just 2 minutes. Okay, so we're back. The chicken's all packed up, it's sitting in the refrigerator. The old Smokey's out back. So with that said, let's take a look at this Inkbird thermometer that came in. Went ahead and I cut the plastic on the back to make this a lot easier to open up. So it comes in a nice box, but it's not the box that we're interested in. It's the thermostat. So let's take a look at this thermometer. It's nice, small digital thermometer. I hear that this is magnetic. It also has a nice stand on the back, which will make this very easy to use. Got ourselves our instruction booklet. Here we have our temperature probes. It looks like we have 2 ambient temperature clips that would go onto the grill grates. Might even work from what I understand in the oven. So we'll put these in between our grill grates. And if I'm working on multiple levels in, say, the Weber, or if I had a large offset smoker, I'd be able to take the temperatures from 2 different portions of that, say 250 gallon, either reverse flow or traditional flow smoker. Those are nice. And of course we have our probes. There's 4 of them here. They're all color coded. And what it looks like is like a headphone jack that's on the back that would plug into our thermostat very simply. They've got Velcro on here to be able to coil them back up so that they stay in place. Let's see what this looks like when we start it up. Let's get rid of this plastic film. I don't think we need that either. So it's come fully charged right off the bat. If we had the ambient temperature to take a look at, which maybe we can do. Let's put this into, try the one that says oven. Maybe that'll give us the ambient temperature. Yep, it does. And it looks like right now it's in Celsius, which it tells us. So it's 19.6 degrees Celsius. I'll have to take a look to see how we're going to calibrate that for Fahrenheit. Let's see if there's any other settings I can do now. I probably have to set this up using the Inkbird app, either on my iPhone or on my Android phone. I believe it works with both. So I don't have any experience with this yet, but I'm going to go ahead and set this up so that it's ready for tomorrow. And why don't I take you out back and show you where the old Smokey is, maybe give you a little tour of the old Smokey that we're going to be using in this barbecue throwdown. All right, so here we are out back. We've got ourselves our old Smokey. It came in a box that was much smaller than this. It took me about 20 minutes to put together. This is probably one of the fastest builds that I've ever done when putting a barbecue together. Simply stated, it came with 2 pieces that looked like a garbage can, almost like R2-D2. And I had to put the dampers on, I had to put the handles on, and I bought the leg extensions to make this a little bit easier to be able to cook with. So with that said, the simplicity of this is a stainless steel rack, charcoal plate that goes into the bottom, and of course there's a damper at the bottom, and you can see all the screws sticking out. The charcoal plate will go right inside and rest on the bottom screws. Then we'll add our briquettes to this, and I plan upon using the minion method in order to regulate the heat and keep it going for as long as possible. And then our 22-inch stainless steel rack goes on top of the top set of screws. And it's just as simple as that. Cooker for tomorrow. One of the things I was thinking as I was out here getting the camera set up is, why don't we put a portion of our chicken onto the old Smoke? Use new Inkbird Bluetooth 5G Wi-Fi thermometer to monitor this. And then why don't we also get some other chicken and set that up and put it on a Weber Smoky Mountain. We'll hook that up with our ThermoWorks billows and signal system. And that way we can do a compare and contrast. We'll find out how long it takes on the old Smokey to cook, and then we can compare our notes with that on the Weber Smoky Mountain 22-inch, and we'll put the app for the Inkbird onto our iPhone, and we'll put the app for the ThermoWorks onto the Android phone to be able to monitor both cooks. So with that said, I'm going to get some other stuff prepped and ready to go, and in the next video we should be ready to start seasoning our chicken. It'll be done doing its brining, and it'll be ready to put on. And of course, we'll also be adding that app onto the iPhone so that we're ready for our cook. So with that said, don't forget to like, subscribe, ring that bell, put some comments in the bottom, and a follow-up is going to follow this probably tomorrow. It'll be tomorrow when I start the camera up again and we begin our cook. All right, folks, so here we are. It is the next day. The chickens have the opportunity to sit overnight in its own brine. We're going to separate it into two piles. One pile we're going to use on the Old Smokey, and one pile we're going to use with the Weber Smoky Mountain. The seasoning today we're going to use is a Fiesta Season It All. We're going real simple with this. We have our brine by way of the Mojo Creo from Goya, and we have our Season It All. So I'm going to go ahead and lay all the chicken out right here on a wire rack. That way it has an opportunity to allow the juices to drip down below. Then we're going to season all of this chicken all the same way. That way it's a unbiased review. All the chicken is the same. The only difference is the cookers that we're using. Wow, that is freezing. There's some massive pieces of chicken in here. Could have done a better job on that trim. And that's that. Now, let's go ahead and get our seasoning on. Get rid of one glove. And we're going to go liberal with this too. Get the underside as well. All right, so that chicken is ready to go on. I'm gonna go ahead and finish off that side, then light the fire. We're going to put all the chicken on. Be right back. All right, folks, so we're back. We're going to get some charcoal, some B&B competition oak briquettes into each one of these pits. We're going to be using a new product today to start it. These are fire cups by Tiger McCool. Just got these from Tiger McCool in California. We're going to give these a shot. Use these in place of Fire Cube from Weber or from some of the different bundles of wood that would go underneath, or even some newspaper. I'm going to go ahead and place these underneath and light those up. And today's method for how we're going to barbecue is going to include a minion method. So first I'm going to go ahead and get some charcoal. Okay. Up. Come on to this side. Let's light that up. That one's lit. Almost as easy as the tumbleweeds, or the, I guess they're almost like a paraffin wax, the ones that come from Weber. We already have some smoke coming up on the one on the old Smokey. What I'm going to do is also get some of this wood around the outside. Then we'll dump those hot coals over the top. Oh yeah, it's lit. The other thing I'm considering doing, and looking at the Weber, which has a water pan on the inside, which I'm going to fill, it almost works like a deflector, is I'm going to add in the lava lock fire dial to the old Smokey. And the reason why I want to do that is, it seems like with the coals in there and the grease dripping down, that I'm almost cooking over direct fire, rather than having something in between to allow for the grease to drip down, hit a hot deflector pan rather, and allow that smoke and flavor to come back into the chicken. The other thing I'm afraid of is the fire. So I'm going to add this deflector plate in and then put the grate over that, and that way I don't end up with a blazing chicken fire out here as I'm monitoring it and running up and down and taking care of taste tester number 2 today. So we're going to add this in. That one's already going. It looks like the one on the Weber is just starting off. So I'm not sponsored by anybody. I don't have any affiliations, but I'm willing to be. Anyway, these came from Tiger McCool Barbecue. They're called fire cups. I was given them in 3 different sizes. I ordered them in 2 sizes. I was actually given a 3rd size. These are the medium size. There's a large size, and I was given, I guess as a trial, 6 of the really small ones, almost the size of what you would get a Jell-O shot in, or if you went to Costco and they gave you a sample cup, just a real little one. Or even if you put some mouthwash in it, it's a tiny cup. So they seem to be working fairly well. I know a lot of the guys that I talk to in the YouTube forums and on Facebook, they use these things quite often, and it was from their recommendation that I went out and decided to try these. I believe the name of the gentleman who manufactures these, his name is Anthony. I don't recall his email address, but you can look him up as Fire Cups, Tiger McCool Fire Cups. I'm going to allow this to get started, and in the interim, I'm going to get inside, just make sure that the chicken's ready and get some other things onto the side so that we're ready to get started with this cook. We'll be right back. So, we've really got these fires chugging away now. I'm going to go ahead and fill out the lit charcoal over the wood, allow the smoking process to begin. Of course, get these cookers up to temperature. We've got the Inkbird that's going to be hooked up to the old Smokey. We've got the ThermoWorks billows and signal set up, hooked up to the 22-inch Weber Smoky Mountain, and we're going to allow these two to do independent cook. So first off, we're going to dump in the charcoal over the wood. Ooh, that is hot. That is hot. Ooh. It's a good thought. It looks like we are going to go Let's get a cover on there. Of course, start up the thermal works as well. Infrared started up. That's already at 350. Set the temperature on the signals. Set the temperature to 275 degrees. Infrared. Let's set that temperature. Alright, very hot. 383 degrees. That's not bad. Boy, it got hot quick. Well, hopefully that settles in. That's pretty hot right now. Whereas with our signal system on the Weber, we're sitting at 227 and allowing the fan to bring the heat up. I'm noticing with the old Smokey, the big difference is even though we haven't had any water in, that does have a deflector plate. This doesn't. This is live fire coming up. So I'm going to go ahead, get some water and start putting it into our foiled water pan. And then we're going to monitor the old Smokey until we get it to temperature. I like to be between 275 to 300. I like both cookers to be there. That's where I think chicken should be, going low and slow. Chicken tends to cook at a higher temperature than if we were doing a very long cook on a brisket or on ribs or even on a pork butt. So we're going to give it a shot and hope for the best. We'll be right back. So it's been about 20 minutes. Right now the signals is holding a temperature of 256. We're on the way up to 275 is where I want to be before I put the chicken on. But I also went ahead and filled that water pan. So as that cold water splashed into the pan and of course onto the grate, it brought the temperature down. But little by little we're coming back up. We're at 257. Meanwhile, old Smokey over here is maintaining a brisk temperature, a nice cool 440 degrees. That thing is on fire. Presently, I'm not a big fan of the Inkbird, and I'm really not a big fan of the old Smokey. If I wanted to cook on a grill, then I would have hooked everything up to a grill. However, I chose to cook on a smoker, but this isn't really the best example, I'm sure, of how the old Smokey works or how the Inkbird works. And many times the Inkbird has told me that it's overheated. Right now it's telling me the temperature inside is 451 degrees. So I'm not going to call this a loss. I'm not going to say that I'm doing something wrong, but I'm certainly not doing something right. Because at 450 degrees, it's more of a grill than it is a smoker. I'm going to go ahead and open up the top once again. There's no fire, there's no flames, it's just hot coals. But it's so hot that if I take the cover off for more than 20 seconds or so, the fire starts up again. So I'm not really sure at this point what I should be doing better in order to maintain this temperature. But the cover no longer fits, it got water. And therefore it doesn't close all the way anymore. So there's air seepage, and that air seepage is then leading to allowing for more oxygen and the fire to get hotter. We're back at 380 degrees after I took the cover off. Meanwhile, looking over at the Weber Smoky Mountain, we're at 259 degrees, just about to break 260. So at this point, I feel comfortable putting the chicken on. I could wait till 275. I want to try to stay between 275 and 300. But at 260, by the time I go inside, get the chicken, come out here, put it on, I'm probably going to be sitting at 265. And the temperature's going to come back down anyway because the chicken's cold. Meanwhile, Old Smokey, again, maintaining a fall brisk temperature of 437 degrees. I'm a little bit afraid to put the chicken on because it's just going to grill it rather than smoke it. I may have to put all the chicken onto the Weber. I'm going to give this a couple more chances. I'm going to let it sit for a little bit. I'm going to baby it, see how we can get the temperature down. Went ahead and I closed all the dampers. I'm preventing any more oxygen from getting to that fire. But this is a grill. This isn't a smoker at this point. So I guess whenever we get a chance, we'll come back. Here it is. This is the temperature. Maybe you can see that. That's on the Weber Smokey Mountain. We're at 260 degrees. And the ambient temperature that's on the Inkbird, that's not even showing us what the temperature is anymore. I think we may have broken the probes. Yeah, that's shot. Telling me that we're at 85.6 degrees. Clearly that's not true. Let me see if we restart the Inkbird app, if that'll change anything. It says the device temperature is too high. Please cool it down before use. That's not going to work for us. In fact, it went ahead and shut itself off. Yeah, it's at 464 degrees. I'm going to take a break from it, let it sit for a while. Hopefully it comes down in temperature. I may even have to take some of the coals off, move them over to the Weber Smokey Mountain. But for now, we're going to take a break, get the chicken ready to put it onto the Weber Smokey Mountain. So, to get the first tray of chicken out, we're going to go ahead and put this onto the Weber. And in the interest of transparency, I decided to take the Inkbird, give it its own shot, and it's also going to be monitoring the temperature here on the Weber. So that way, we don't rule out any mistakes that we're having with the old Smokey and blame it on the thermostat. Obviously, the Inkbird will now be running on the same unit at the same time. And we'll be able to see just how accurate it is and its ease of use. I've got plenty of room on this Weber cooker, so if necessary, I can take the other rack of chicken, or rather the other tray of chicken, and put it onto this rack. It's easy to fix all these pieces. See how many we have up here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So in total, there's at least 26, maybe 27 pieces of chicken. The only thing I'm thinking about right now to cool the old Smokey off is me having an ice cold, refreshing Miller latte. This is what I need for the stress and pressure that I'm having on what should be an easy, stress-free cook. This one I don't have to worry about it. This was my set it and forget it for the pork butt. Worked out perfect. Cooked for nearly 13 and a half hours on one load of charcoal. I never had to touch it. This, brand new to me. I'm thinking that maybe I'm making a mistake, I don't know, but my original plan has been defeated, and my fears that this was going to be a live fire cook has really become reality. This is burning like a barbecue. This is like a charcoal grill, whereas this is definitely a lump charcoal, a briquette charcoal, a wood-fired smoker. It does exactly what I need to do. Let's see where we're at on temperature. Thermalworks is telling us the signal is that we're at 230, and looking at the Inkbird is telling us that we are at 238. So we're off by 8 degrees. Well, this is 233, so they're give or take within 5 degrees of each other. So the accuracy seems to be there. I don't want to blame the Inkbird. I don't want to trash a brand new item that came out. It is working just as it's supposed to. It's a Wi-Fi 5G enabled thermostat. It's nice, it's compact, it's got some very nice probes wrapped in metal so that they don't warp, and they're easy to wrap up. So I want to take back any negativity that I had on that Inkbird. It's really just this old Smokey right now that's kind of underwhelming. But maybe I'll get the other rack of chicken, and if this temperature comes down, we'll go ahead and throw some chicken on there as well. I'm thinking the majority of the chicken, since all this food's getting donated to the fire department, it's all going over to the Shawnee Volunteer Fire Department. By the way, there'll be a link in the description. Really appreciate if anyone can make a donation. It's all volunteer. All the money for the apparatus, all of our gear, all of the training, everything comes from volunteer dollars. So I really appreciate if any of you out there could be generous. When you give in life, you get back. And there's nothing better than giving to your first responders. When we run into a fire, there's nothing that we're doing more. We don't get paid for it. Nothing that we're doing more than to save life and to save property. And we do that with the goodness of our hearts. There's no financial compensation. Obviously, we all have families, and our families are just as worried about us as we are when we approach a structure fire or when we're approaching a woodland fire. Kind of like what was just going on in Canada this week and what goes on in the West Coast when the woods go up on fire, that we have to go into those wildlands. And we have special suits for those, and of course, those suits as well are all funded by volunteer dollars. So I want to make sure that my guys, my team, my brothers and sisters in the fire department, that they're fed well, and that's where all this food's going to go to. So we can't have any mistakes. I'm going to go grab that chicken and I'll be right back. So, as it turns out, I didn't realize that the Old Smokey is actually a grill, and it was operating exactly how it's supposed to at 400 degrees. I was under the impression with the name Old Smokey that it was a smoker. So I have to apologize once again for the way that I had misinterpreted what this device was meant for. It is for hot and fast cooking, and it is utilized for grilling at 400 plus degrees. So with that said, I did put 3 pieces of chicken on. The remainder are on the Weber Smoky Mountain smoking. So we will have smoked chicken, and we do have grilled chicken. So let's take a look at where we're at. I also went ahead and switched over, did a quick change over to the ThermalWorks apron, and have my ThermalWorks 1 thermometer with me. So let's go ahead and get a temperature on this chicken that's been sitting here for about the last 15-20 minutes and see where we're at. So there we are at 170, is also 170. So right there, we can probably pull it. Maybe we can give it another minute or 2, or maybe get a little higher in temperature as it sits here. I typically like to get my chicken to about 175, but anywhere between 170 to 180 is a great temperature to pull it at. Just give it one more shot, maybe a little different in another area. Still climbing. That's 173, and that's 175. So I'm gonna pull this chicken. Let's see how it came out. Before we bite into that, because I know it's going to be kind of hot, let's see what's going on with the smoker. So according to ThermalWorks, for 278 degrees. The top rack's at 151, bottom rack's at 149. Let's see where we're at with the Inkbird. We've got a temperature of 170, and it looks like our chicken is, we got a temperature of 271, and our chicken is at 170. And it looks like we have another piece of chicken in there that's might be hovering around 175, so that's almost enough. Take a look. Looking good. Not crisped up yet, but if I'm gonna put a glaze on, now's a good time to get some barbecue sauce or some glaze and get that added to the chicken. So I'm probably gonna do that next and start to make my glaze. But let's give this chicken a bite and see how it came out. This being our grilled chicken. Nice and crispy skin. Oh yeah. Let's test this little piece right here. Little taster. That is good. Ooh, that is hot too. This is never gonna make it to the fire department. This was for me for tonight. Wow, that's hot. That skin is so crispy. I'm glad I didn't take the fat off from underneath the skin. It's juicy too. You got a pool of juice at the bottom. Where is taste tester number 1 and taste tester number 2? It's good chicken. I'm gonna bring that in, put a piece of tin foil over it. That'll be my dinner for tonight. I'm gonna go inside and also start making that glaze and bring the camera in, and let's go from there. So let's get our sauce going, also known as our glaze. First thing we're gonna put in is a little apple cider vinegar. Next, let's add in a little maple syrup. Let's get a little hot honey in there. No need for the top. Look at that. A little sweetness and a little heat. Very nice. Very nice. And then let's cut it all with a little bourbon. Very nice. Give that a stir around. And then we'll throw this onto Old Smokey and allow it to reduce down a little bit. That is nice and sticky. Let's see how that's tasting. Not bad. I'm thinking maybe we use a little bit more syrup. Get some more syrup in there. Maybe a little more honey. Very nice. There's a big glob right there in the middle that's going to have to reduce down. All right, let's get it outside. Get it on Old Smokey. Let's see how we're doing. Look at that chicken, nice and glazed. Chicken underneath couldn't get to, so that one is just dry rubbed. But the chicken on the top all has that nice glaze on there. Look at those. Nice. We'll be pulling those off in just a couple of minutes. Well, and there it is. Chicken for the firehouse is done. In this basket right here, this pan, this is the chicken that had the mojo Creole. And then it was seasoned with the Fiesta Seasonal. Over here is the same chicken, but the difference with this one is I ended up putting on a glaze that involved the hot honey along with the maple syrup, some apple cider vinegar, and then we finally hit it with a little bit of bourbon, and that's what we're looking at here. So that's our glazed chicken, and that's our dry rub chicken, and that's that. So don't forget to like, subscribe, ring that bell, comment below, and I'll see you all in the next episode. Boy, does that chicken look delicious. I'm dying to take a bite out of it. Let me just get one bite. Let's just get one reaction. Here we go. Shawnee Firehouse. Ooh, I know this is going to be hot. I'm going to be regretting this. Let me get a paper towel for that. Let's grab just one. Look at that. Look at that piece of chicken right there. Oh my goodness. Ooh. Wow. That is delicious. That is wonderful. All right, one more bite. That is full of flavor. Hot. Wow. Woo. All right. Like, subscribe, comment below. I am on fire inside of my throat. That is delicious. It is sweet. It's got a little bit of a twang from the vinegar, but it doesn't have any of that heat from the hot honey. Surprising. I thought it might have a little bit of chili flavor. All right, folks. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.